How to connect to a computer. Wired connection. Connect a keyboard to the computer using a USB cable. Turn on the keyboard's power switch. The keyboard's name will appear in the USB device list on Windows or Mac. Wireless connection on Mac. Turn on the keyboard's power switch. Press the BT button on the keyboard to enable Bluetooth. The BT indicator light will turn solid red. On your Mac, go to Launchpad, Other, Audio MIDI Setup. In the MIDI Studio window, click the Bluetooth icon and select Synido TempoKey W25 BT to connect. The BT indicator light will turn solid blue when connected. Open Logic Pro or other music software to start using the keyboard. Open the Windows settings and navigate to Bluetooth. Select Synido TempoKey W25 BT to connect. At this point, the device's Bluetooth indicator light will briefly turn blue and then remain red. Launch the Loop MIDI software and click on the plus icon. Open the MIDI Berry software. Set the input to Synido TempoKey W25 BT. Set the output to Loop MIDI port. Now, pressing a key on the keyboard will show signal input. Open DAW software. Go to Options Preferences and enable MIDI keyboard input. How to connect to mobile devices, divise par tablets. Wired connection. Use the included USB-A to USB-C OTG adapter to connect the USB data cable. Note, if your phone has a Lightning connector, you'll need to obtain a USB-C to Lightning adapter with OTG functionality. After connecting the phone, plug the other end, USB-C, into the keyboard and turn on the keyboard's independent power supply. Connection is complete. For Android devices, using Gbox app as an example, open the Gbox app, select BandLab, tap the plus icon in the top left corner, select Instrument, and start playing. After connecting the keyboard, simply open GarageBand to start using it. Wireless connection. Turn on the keyboard's independent power supply and press the BT button on the keyboard. At this point, Bluetooth is enabled but not connected, indicated by a steady red light. For Android devices, using Gbox app as an example, open the Gbox app, choose BLE, and connect to the Synido TempoKey W25 BT. Once connected, the Bluetooth light will turn solid blue. Return to the Gbox home screen. Select BandLab again, tap the plus icon in the top left corner, select Instrument, and start playing. For Apple devices, after enabling the keyboard's Bluetooth function, open GarageBand, go to Settings, Advanced Bluetooth MIDI devices. Connect to Synido TempoKey W25 BT. Once connected, the Bluetooth light will turn solid blue, and you can begin playing. How to use with Ableton Live. Connection settings. Open Ableton Live. Go to Options, Preferences. Enable MIDI keyboard input. Drag an instrument into a MIDI track to start sending corresponding note information. Control mapping. In Ableton Live's preferences, ensure the keyboard's input and output are correctly selected, then drag an instrument into the track. Right-click on the control button you wish to map. Edit MIDI mapping. Once the interface color changes, left-click on the button you want to map and press the corresponding key on the keyboard to complete the mapping. After mapping, right-click again on the mapped key. Uncheck Edit MIDI mapping. The interface color will return to normal. You can now press the mapped control button to check if the mapping was successful. The same mapping method applies to knobs and faders. Right-click on the knob you want to map and edit MIDI mapping. Once the interface color changes, left-click on the desired knob or fader. Operate the keyboard to map the desired control. Right-click again to uncheck Edit MIDI mapping. You can now operate the mapped knob or fader to verify if the mapping was successful. How to use with Logic Pro. Connection settings. Once the PC and keyboard are connected, simply open Logic Pro to start using it. Control mapping. Activate the keyboard's MMC button. Open the software and go to File, Project Settings, Synchronization, then select MIDI. Check the box for Listen to MIDI Machine Control, MMC input. Exit the settings to enable control. Knob divided by pad mapping. Navigate to the menu and select Control Surfaces, Controller Assignments, Expert View. Add a new area. Press Command +2 to open the mixer, then move the knob you want to assign with your mouse. Click on Learn Mode and set it to the corresponding track and channel number. Move the hardware knob on the controller. Click on Learn Mode again. Operate the knob on the keyboard to check if the mapping was successful. How to set up sound output. After successfully connecting the MIDI keyboard, loading instrument tracks in DAW software. Open your DAW software. Go to Options, Preferences, and enable MIDI keyboard input. Drag an instrument into a MIDI track, sending corresponding note information. Select the instrument in your mobile music app, then trigger the sound via the MIDI keyboard. After opening the GarageBand app, choose an instrument and play it through the MIDI keyboard. Launch the companion software on Windows divided by Mac, and the sound will output normally. Note: ensure that the device's pad divided by key channel matches the pad divided by key channel in the companion software. How to use the W25's continuous knob to adjust CC absolute and relative values. How to set relative values via the device. Gently turn the continuous knob to enter the editing interface. Press the main knob to enter the submenu. Rotate clockwise to choose the desired event type. The display order is as shown in the figure. After selecting the corresponding event type, long press the main knob to confirm the setting. How to set relative values via the companion software. Open the dedicated control panel software for the keyboard. When the continuous knob is set to CC event type, The icon in the software will display its event value property in the upper right corner. Display order of properties. After selecting the desired event property, click Send to Hardware to apply the setting. Tips for mapping relative values in DAW software. Step 1. Set the continuous knob to relative value mode via the device or companion software. Step 2. Open Ableton Live. Open Ableton Live. Go to Options, Preferences, and select Synido TempoKey W25 for both MIDI input and output. Ensure the track and remote options for Synido TempoKey W25 are checked in both input and output ports. Right-click on the knob you want to map. The Ableton Live interface will turn blue. After selecting the mapped encoder knob, slowly rotate the knob counterclockwise. Ableton Live will automatically recognize and map the infinite knob. Right-click again to click Edit MIDI Mapping to exit the MIDI mapping interface. Note, when mapping, only slowly rotate the knob counterclockwise. Do not rotate quickly, as this may cause data anomalies after mapping. Ableton Live does not support REL 3 mode, only REL 1 and REL 2 modes.